There are so many reasons that somebody can be depressed. But let's talk about some of them today, and let's talk about the responses to it. You know, one of the reasons that's pretty obvious is that people are so prone to comparing themselves to others today. And it's very hard not to, because you look at social media and there is that availability of what somebody else is doing, what somebody else has going on. And sometimes it can be hard to not compare yourself to others and not to feel like you're missing something, because you look and you see, wow, this person is married, or this person is single and seems so free, or this person is a trad wife and they make everything from scratch, or this person is so wealthy, they have everything ordered at their fingertips, or so many iterations. And you are just wondering, am I enough? Sometimes you may just be wondering, am I enough? And it's something that we really have to think about, because when your sense of happiness comes from what other people are doing, or whether other people feel fulfilled or not, or whether other people are doing this or that, it is going to be something that can constantly bring you down. And what many people are finding, amazingly, is that no matter what's going on and how some people seem to have it all, when you peel back the layers, you see that everybody is just dealing with different difficulties in their own way. No matter how rich or famous or seemingly well-liked someone is, at the end of the day, they still have those same difficulties. So, number one, looking through, and I'm going to give you 5 points to consider when I say, are you depressed? Number one, looking for outside approval. Yes, and we're in a situation where we have likes, and we have comments, and we have engagement, and we have the number of views. And how depleting can this be to your sense of who you are, when there could be a myriad of reasons why you're not getting engagement, or why your video or your work is not being pushed out, or why from practical reasons in terms of the algorithm, maybe you don't post regularly, to other reasons. You know, you could be in a position where you'll be blessed with opportunities later, but things are being lined up for you. And so they're not coming as quickly. And then you see somebody else who has certain things or certain opportunities, and you're wondering, why am I not there? So that's, again, looking for something that is external. That goes back to that external validation. So that's the first thing. If you don't want to be depressed, if you want to have that happiness and that joy abound, you should not be worried about that external validation in whatever form, whether it's somebody that you know very well or people that you don't know well. When you're constantly seeking that outside validation, it can be so tiring and so dispiriting to the point where it's dangerous to rely on the external that way. So that's one, that external validation. Number two, and we kind of danced into it a bit and came away from it, is that worrying about what other people are doing, what stage they are at. You hear when your people are talking in different articles or being interviewed. The 22-year-old singer said this. The 50-year-old entrepreneur said this. The 70-year-old business owner said this. It is a very strange way to describe someone, but you hear it all the time. The 35-year-old mother of two, the 20-year-old recent college grad, the 60-year-old business owner, the 85-year-old veteran employee. You hear, and what does it do? It encourages people to compare themselves. This employee is so venerated at this time in his life. Are you at the age that you're at? This person has a business that is so successful, and they give you the age. Are you? This 26-year-old artist who has received this award, have you gotten that award by 26? And yet, you don't know the mental state of that person. Are they fulfilled? Or is that situation just right for them? So then why are they giving you the age of the person? It seems like it gives you the opportunity to compare yourself. So it's something that we have to really be aware of. Now, I'm just going to go quickly to your comments, and then I'm going to go right back. Justin Goodwin says, yes, I am. Thank you for your comment. Justin Goodwin also says, you must teach. Beautiful. Floor Dub says, hello. Wonderful. Do you remember me? Oh, Four Dubs says, we definitely remember you, Four Dubs. You're so wonderful. America Chavez says, hello, Queen. You guys are so wonderful. And hearing from you is so exciting. All of you also hit that like button. Now, that might sound contradictory in what I'm saying about validation or approval, but we can pull more people into the conversation. So that's a different kind. Validation, when you take it in psychologically, is different from when you want to shift reasons for validation to see how you can serve others. So if you're doing a live or you're doing something and you want to draw other people into the conversation, likes can help with that. So let's go. Number one was looking for outside validation. You have to be careful of that if you want to stay away from depression. Number two, comparing yourself to others. What do they really have for you to compare yourself to? Unless the person says, I am truly, truly happy in my life. And you know what? When somebody is happy, they want to help others. So you're going to see evidence of that. It's not just them saying, oh, I'm such a happy person, but they won't give a like on your video. Or, oh, I'm such a happy person, but they don't want to tell you some of the ways in which they're developing their wealth. Or, oh, I'm such a happy person, but they're constantly criticizing you in relationships where you're happy. There's going to be evidence of that happiness if people are truly happy. And one of the biggest elements of evidence that you'll see is that they'll try to help others. So again, number one, if you want to stay away from depression, really be mindful of comparing yourself to others. It can be so unhealthy and so unnecessary because you don't even know the state of that person. You don't even know whether they're happy or not. You don't even know what they've gone through to get where they are. Number two, comparing yourself to other people. Number three, the need for validation. Okay, now, that might sound like number one because it is, but number three, in terms of the need for validation, let's make that more on social media. If you're going to look for validation, think about how, whatever you're looking for, how is it going to serve others? So if, for example, again, you're doing a live and you know that when you have more people in, you might be able to reset somebody's thinking. That's a different reason for wanting likes rather than just to think that people like you or not. Let's go to number 4. The number 4 thing that you should be thinking about in terms of how to stay away from being depressed. Okay? Now this one might surprise you because we haven't really discussed it much. Being mindful of your diet. Now again, this is not professional or medical advice. You should always consult your physician and those who are professionals. But we're talking about this in the context of thoughts and opinion. Be mindful of chemical things that you're putting into your system. I remember I once talked to a girl and she said, chemical foods in, chemical thoughts out. She said something to that degree. You're putting chemical foods in yourself. You're going to have chemical thoughts, maybe distorted thoughts, confusing thoughts, inauthentic thoughts. You have to be mindful of what goes in. And again, just opinion, always consult your physician or people who are professionals. But if you have foods that have natural ways in which they've been described to improve your health, then imagine what that's going to do for your overall way that you feel about yourself. People have talked about bananas and the mood, how bananas can positively impact your mood. So imagine if you're putting a piece of just chemical-filled candy in your mouth over a banana, which could be packed with so many different elements that can improve how you're feeling, that can improve your thoughts, your mind. Imagine the difference that makes. Imagine the difference in having raw foods and other things, and how those things really, really matter. So we said 1, thinking about too much, looking for other people's approval. 2, comparing yourself to others. These are things that can detract from your happiness. 3, we went back to validation, that if you're going to look for validation, look for it in terms of how can you serve others. You're looking to really confirm something. You're not looking to be personally liked. You're looking to confirm something and bring other people into a conversation so that it can help them. 4, the food that you put into your body. Are you constantly putting in fast foods or foods that are not prepared well, foods that are full of chemicals, and really thinking that this is not going to impact your mind or your mood? Is that really wise? Again, always consult your physician, always consult a professional, but these are opinions and thoughts to just consider, okay? And now we go to 5. And again, this might surprise you. Thinking constantly, and thank you for the likes, thank you for listening and putting the like in there. And I want to say again, hello to 4Dubs. Amazing. 4Dubs is the kind of person that doesn't worry about what other people are doing. They're going to like it. They're going to just express what they want to express. And that is something very, very important to cultivate. Want to thank Justin Goodwin. Wonderful, wonderful, and just full of curiosity and imagination. Want to also thank you. Nothing Too Important says, hi, sorry, I have, Tourette's. Wow, Nothing Too Important says, sorry, hi, sorry, I have Tourette's. Nothing Too Important. We love to learn about different people's experiences here. So nothing that you should apologize for. That is just, it's amazing how And you know what? Let me give number 6, and then I'll go back to number 5. It's amazing how you apologize for having Tourette's, but it's amazing, even things that challenge people, even things that people find painful or difficult, can actually, the Bible says all things, and I'm paraphrasing, all things work to the good of those who love him, who love God. It's amazing how even things that challenge you, that have hurt you in the past, that have been difficult for you, can be turned for good. So no need to apologize for what you're challenged by. It looks like nothing too important is actually very important in trying to see, how can I inspire others? How can I look at the situation that I'm in and really invigorate others? So that's number 6, and I'm going to go back to number 5. Number 6 is, whatever situation you are in, how can it be turned not only for your good, but for the good of someone else? And just focusing on that, because that's another thing that opinion, just my opinion, is going to pull you away from depression, because you're constantly seeing the world as seeing elements and experiences and discussions and situations as opportunities to grow, to be enriched, and to help others. Even if you have a conversation that makes you worry or that makes you sad, how can it be turned to your advantage? Now, Gammon Boy 141, or no, looks like German Boy 141, says, like the blue ones. Oh, okay. Maybe you're talking about the sad ones. Yes, but people, oh, okay. And then nothing too important responded, yes, I have blue Tourette's. All right. This is an important discussion, because even in this conversation, nothing too important, who says they have Tourette's, and that it's crippling. Imagine, even in something that nothing too important describes as crippling, they're still using their power to inspire someone else. They're still here taking in what they can and seeing how they can inspire somebody else. That is power. That is power. Taking your difficulty, and even your difficulty, and seeing, how can I make somebody else's life better? That is absolutely amazing. Now, let's go back to, and I want to say hi to Bolt Does Stuff. Bolt Does Stuff says, I love eating wooden tables. Apparently you guys have a sense of humor, because I know that you're talking to your physician about what is healthy for you. And nothing too important says, for real. Love nothing too important's attitude. Absolutely wonderful. Bolt Does Stuff, so happy that you're here. Bolt Does Stuff. So happy that you're here, nothing too important. So happy that you guys are here, that you're sharing in the conversation. German Boy 141, so glad that you're here. Justin Goodwin, you guys are so important. 4 Dubs, you are so wonderful. And you are always looking to see how you can help someone. America Chavez says, hello, Queen. You guys are just amazing. So now we skipped around and we went to number 6. That even no matter what challenge you have, you're seeing how you can serve others. Of course, you want to make sure that your cup is filled. You want to make sure that you're powerful, that you are enriched, that you are in a position where you're controlling yourself and you're careful. And then you want to see, how can I help others? But I want to go back to 5. And I'm going to close pretty much with 5. So I want you to come close and listen, because I'm going to go over. Now, we had number 1. Be careful. If you don't want to be depressed, again, this is all opinion. Always consult professionals. This is just an idea. Number 1, be very mindful of looking for other people's approval. That can be very painful and hurtful. You know, if you guys know, you know me, look to your loving creator for your approval, and you'll always get that love, that kindness, just that embrace, and know that your loving creator wants you to have joy. Okay, so don't rely on people for it, because you'll just go up and down and here and there. And that's number one, looking for people's approval too much. Number two, we talked about comparing yourself. Remember, some of the people that you compare yourself to, let's just be honest, are miserable. So you see somebody with a lot of material wealth, you see someone with a mansion, with this and that, surrounded by friends, and they really may not be happy. And yet you in your own life, you may have discovered a garden. Didn't cost you anything to go into that garden. You know, it's maybe a community garden. You're going in there, you're seeing new plants, new bulbs, new blooms. You feel so enriched and so happy. And then you get a glimpse on social media of someone who has a fleet of cars. And you say, oh, I don't have that. And you let sadness seep in. Please don't do that. You were in that garden, enriched by the sunlight, enjoying, basking in the beauty and the glow of the earth. And then you let what somebody else has or doesn't have stop you from enjoying that moment. Be careful. That person with a fleet of cars may yearn to be able to have the joy that you have just going into a garden. Very, very valuable that you can get joy from that. Okay, so that's two. That's the comparison. Number three, we went back to the validation. If you do look for likes or some kind of confirmation online, if you're looking at it, it's different when you're looking at it for a confirmation. If you get more likes on a video and it's a conversation that you want to expand and invite others, not just for your own personal, but so that you can see others grow, that's a different kind of validation. So consider that. And number four, we talked about, well, let me go to number five. We talked about, let me go to number six. For number six, we talked about, because Nothing Too Important was talking about the challenges that they have. So Nothing Too Important is even using those challenges to help others. Very powerful. Whatever challenge, whatever you come up upon, think, how can this enrich me and how can I help others? Okay, so now back to 4 and 5. 5 was about being too concerned about looks. Beauty and the perception of beauty changes with generations, with cultures, all around the world, and in so many different ways. So a high forehead may be considered beautiful in one culture or during one century, perceived differently by another group of people. A long neck, who knows, long arms, long hair, short hair, eyes that are shaped a particular way, so many different things. Know that those who have the ability to market to you that whatever they have is desirable may just do that. So when you start to really devalue something that you have, just because somebody with money, for example, let's say you're a woman and you have pretty petite feet, pretty petite, and maybe they're small, but they're wide, or they're beautiful, wide feet that are small. And then there's somebody who has a lot of money, and and the woman has very big feet. Nothing wrong with either. You were just born differently. But she has the money to have the influence to say, big feet are so much better. If you're a woman, you want to have big feet. That's the thing to have. or vice versa. What does the person have? Is the big foot that she has more beautiful than the small foot? They're just feet. But one of them has material wealth to convince the other that what she has is desirable or not desirable. Please don't fall into that trap. And stop looking with wonder at the things you're blessed with. Because it literally, somebody who has money can just market to you that even something that they don't like, they can just market to you, this is the desirable thing. Imagine stopping liking something, ceasing to like something so beautiful that you've been blessed with, just because somebody has the material resources to tell you that it's not beautiful. And that person may not even be happy. And if they have to convince you that something that you have is not beautiful, that's more evidence that they're not happy. And so we're going to mix it up. And no matter what was given for number 5, I'm going to give this for number 5. And I want you to come close. I want you to come very close. And I want you to remember, when you come to these lives, before I get to what we're going to call number 5 out of these 6 for today, when you come to these lives, this is a place where you can relax. You watch other videos and it's about quick transitions, colors, things happening, what's happening, who's doing this. When you come to these lives, you may see other people begin to do lives that are in the dark, that are physically in the dark, that are about enlightening you. Just remember, this is where you came for it first. And the bright minds that are drawn to what we do are so important and so valid. And when you go to modelpoetry.com, you might see us talking about some of you on the page. You might go there and be surprised one day that your name is mentioned, or somebody that you know is mentioned, or you might see a celebrity, because other people look for numbers. We look for quality interactions. And that's why celebrities and leaders are the ones that follow us. Because not all celebrities are leaders, but many are. And not all leaders are celebrities. There are so many who are very quiet. They may have 4 followers, but they are robust in what they are contributing to the world, the way they are shaping other people's thoughts and imagination, the way they cook, the way they move, the way they think, the way they don't worry about what other people have to say. They have 4 followers, 3 followers, 0 followers, but when they engage, they are impactful. And that's why when you come to these lives, you are coming not for all of this, the quick transitions, the music, the this and that. You are coming to get away from all of that for a little while. You're coming in part for the silence. You're coming to get away from the pressures of the day. You're coming to lean back and take in all the beauty that you're experiencing. You're coming to cry if you want to. You're coming to laugh quietly to yourself if you want to. You're coming to defrost from those people that laughed at you on your job just because you did things a little bit differently. You're coming to get away from for a few moments from those who in your school, just because you wore your hair differently, or because you walk differently, or because you have an accent, they treat you in such a way. And little do they know that in 10 years, You will be a leader who is shaping the world, who is helping people to get fed, who is helping others to feel confident, who is helping pull people away from sadness that almost stopped them from pursuing their dreams. You come to these lives for that. Don't worry about what the world is doing. Now, let me give you the final thought for today. Okay? One of the things to pull you away from sadness. One of the things that my friend said to me, I remember I was, and it's very hard for me to share personal things, but I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable here. I was in a situation where there was an environment that I used to go to regularly, let's just say that, a very legitimate professional environment. And when that, although, again, this is not, the place was a very wholesome place, a very nice place in many ways. But when the, let's say that particular assignment was done, I'll put it that way, maybe I'll describe it in another way on another day. Because there were so many nice people there, and because maybe to some degree there was just a routine, there was a particular sadness with that assignment ending. And I remember talking to my friend, and she just saw how overwhelmed with sadness I was. And she said, you're going to wake up. She said something to this effect, and it will be tomorrow. And you'll be one day away from this experience that was so difficult for you. And in a week, you will be a week away from it. It will be behind you by a week. And then it'll be a month. And then it'll be 2 months. And it'll be 6 months. Then it'll be a year. And I don't know if I was fully able to absorb it in that moment because I was so sad. But there was a part of me that was able to look out and see that this thing, as painful as it was going to be behind, separating from this environment was going to be behind me. And whatever pain I was feeling. And she helped me to see out into the distance. So whatever you're going through, sometimes do that. Think, wow, this really feels awful. And be honest with yourself about that. And then say, in a week, that awful is going to be a week behind me. Then it's going to be a month. Then 2 months, 3 months. What will this look like a year from now? It feels so terrible now. What will it look like in a year? You've had things in your past that were so awful. And some of them you can't even remember. Haven't you ever? I've had people who treated me unfairly and I can't remember their names. I genuinely can't remember their names. And at the time, it just seemed like the end of the world, what they were doing or saying. So that would be, and I'm going to wrap it up. Number one, if you're depressed, please don't look for, and again, not medical or professional advice, always consult a professional. But let me go through them again. Number one, don't look for other people's approval. Number two, don't compare yourself to other people. Number three, If you're going to look for validation, look for the kind of validation that enriches other people, that is just a confirmation so you can carry your story further and help others. Number 4, don't worry about, and these might be slightly out of order, but don't worry about your looks. There are historical differences in looks that changes all the time. Don't let other people make you think you're beautiful or not just because you're in a particular decade or a time that, that's, or culture, or part of your life, or you haven't even developed fully. You don't even fully know what your face looks like. Or even when your face is developed, that can change over time, and you can grow more beautiful, God willing, and grow more beautiful to yourself. Don't worry about other people's perceptions. That changes so much across cultures and time. God sees you as beautiful. Your loving creator sees you as beautiful. Other people's opinion is not important. Number 5, well, let me go to number 6. Number 5 was about whatever challenge you have, use it to your advantage. And number 6, think, no matter how bad things are at the moment, imagine yourself gaining distance from it. Tomorrow, a week, 2 months, 3 months, it's behind you. A year, it's behind you. And start rebuilding your life so you don't experience that pain again, if at all possible. Keep praying. I love you guys so much. You are amazing. Thank you for coming to the live. Let me just say again, thank you so much. Nothing too important. That's the username. Absolutely wonderful, and you are very important. Bolt does stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys are amazing. I love all your comments. I am so grateful that you commented, even though I'm reading some of them. I may not have seen all of them, but you guys are wonderful. German Boy 141, thank you so much for joining. Nothing too important, thank you again. Justin Goodwin, thank you again. 4 dubs, yes, 4 dubs. Thank you so much for coming to the live. America Chavez, one of our classic followers, you are absolutely wonderful. You guys, you are so wonderful. Said R says thank you. Oh, Said R, that is a perfect way to end the live today, with you just saying simply thank you. Said R, thank you too. And thank you, everyone. I love you guys so much, so genuinely, so truly. Thank you for everything. And, also go to modelpoetry.com. See who we talk about. Sometimes we might mention you guys. Talk to us if you talk to us on YouTube, if you make a comment on YouTube after the live, if you make a comment during the live especially, and then especially after the live, we might mention you at modelpoetry.com, which is a place that many celebrities love and many leaders love. And we love you guys so much. You are absolutely wonderful. Absolutely. We'll see you next time.